Did you have 51,000? But the fact that the $700 tax payments and full self-driving is probably transport. Yes. And he's going to do longer. This real version, which the savings of miles is actually 1 second less than if you have this. So I was down at 265, but anyway, I don't know what performance. I'm doing 265 miles. So you have some evidence. Oh, I do. We have not an update. Yeah. Okay. So I'm not about 20 a year. So I started looking a little bit. Well, right now, again, September, you got to take the delivery report to the period. And not only that, but it's not credit anymore. Yeah. They take it right off. Yeah. I think I'm going to stay in a BMW. Okay. All right. You guys want me to start? Okay. Yeah, we're so how many do we have online? Just two? Two, three. Okay. We can't vote on anything, but we can have a meeting. Welcome, everyone. I'm Stuart Weinberg, the Vice Chair of this committee. And welcome, everyone. And I'd like to just take a moment for us to reflect on all the things that make us happy. So just take a moment to reflect on that for a moment. Thank you. The mayor will be here at the end to give us an update on some of the things that are happening around the city and with the Corps of Army Engineers. But we'll start with Mika as our Director of Sustainability. You're on.
Okay, welcome. We do have some housekeeping to take care of. Before we do that, if you don't mind, for procedural purposes, could those who are in person, and we'll switch to who's online as well, but in person, could you just introduce yourself and your position with the committee, just so we can have the names recorded?
Oh, I'm Catherine Betcham with the BCD COG, and I'm a proxy for Ron Mitchum, our Executive Director.
Hi everyone, I'm Lucy Davis. I'm at the College of Charleston. I'm a proxy for Kendra Stewart.
Hey, Dan Cassis, Dominion Energy, and I'm myself.
That's good. Okay, thank you so much. Online, the mayor's joining virtually, it looks like. Okay, Mayor Cog as well. You good? Okay.
Yeah, and Councilmember Bowden, can you hear us, by the way?
Yeah, I can hear. That's fine.
Yeah, we're having some issues with the cameras, but if you can hear everyone clearly, I think we're good then.
Yep.
Okay, and Mayor Cogswell, you're having issues with the camera, but we can see you on our screen here. Just doing a quick roll call quickly. Yeah, Philip, and Rick DeVoe, is that you on the phone?
You can press *6 to unmute yourself on the phone.
And Rick, if you can hear that, hit press *6 to unmute yourself. You're good. And one more time. Yep, there you go. Good to see you. Thank you. Sorry you cannot see us. I guess I could turn my camera on.
Mika, Mayor, would you like to start with your comments first before we go into anything else?
Sure, I can get going. Sorry I'm not able to be there in person, but I got kind of a back-to-back schedule today. And kind of the main thing I wanted to discuss is we had a very productive conversation about the update on where things stand with the Army Corps of Engineers partnership, both on the perimeter protection and the tidal and inland flooding at the last stormwater public works subcommittee meeting. A lot is going on there, a lot to move the ball forward. We're asking council to approve $500,000 to go towards review of the western alignment as it relates to the battery extension, as well as an updated contract with members of the water team, Black and Beach, to do the eastern alignment for the battery extension. We're taking that control away from the Army Corps initially so that we have real clarity on design and alignment. And I'm taking that information up to DC first week of September to meet with the head of the Army Corps to get their sign off. So it's been a constructive several months working with them. And I think despite some of the delays, I think this approach is significantly better for the city in terms of defining what we ultimately will see, particularly around the peninsula, but really across the entire city. So ultimately, I think it's going to make things go more smoothly and be more timely. So, but I have to be the optimist, right? So a lot of work going on there. And again, it's not just the peninsula. We are also including about $1 million to continue the tidal and inland flooding, which will be, all of the initiatives outlined in the water plan, but also a lot of the work that's been ongoing through our public works and capital improvement budgets, like on Bees Ferry, on Church Creek, on James Island, Central Park. I mean, all of these efforts where we know we have flooding issues, looking at intermediate and long-term solutions. So that's one major resiliency effort that is ongoing. And then another one today we talked about, I wanted to float to this committee is something to consider and help maybe shepherd is 20 years ago, I was on a committee that Joe Riley set up to plant 10,000 trees around the city. And I'm not sure what ultimately ended up happening. We did plant some. I don't think we ever got to the 10,000, but in walking around, we've got a lot of areas that could use some shade all across the city. And so it's a pretty simple community type event and function that people can get behind that does have real impact in terms of heat island effect and just beautification. So I'd like to look at figuring out a structure to bring that concept back. And I think this group might be a good place to start. So wanted to throw that idea out there and get the group's feedback. So those kind of my one major, one minor, but exciting, I think, opportunity for us to consider.
Comment on that?
I have a comment. Just interested in more about the 10,000 trees. And I know that one of the things that we were doing as part of those 10,000 trees, it included planting palm trees, which are actually technically grasses and don't necessarily provide shade, but they count as a tree. Oh, sorry if I'm echoing.
1 second, can you hear, those are joining virtually, can you hear Lucy's comment? Okay,
Yeah.
making sure. Yeah,
Oh, and
okay.
again, sorry, Lucy Davis. I'm standing in for Kendra Stewart. So we'd just like to hear a little bit more as we're going through that planning, how we plan to also include that as a component within those 10,000 trees, because I do think I remember a good portion of that was considered palm trees. But again, they don't really support our shaded space, which you even mentioned, Mayor Cogswell.
palmetto trees, but you know.
Yeah, sorry, yes.
We're a little biased here in South Carolina, right? No, I hear you. And no, the goal here is to plant long-term permanent shade trees that will be there 100 years from now. And so, palmettos serve a purpose. They are our state tree, but I hear what you're saying. I think what I'm going for here is something that really does provide significant shade. I just walked on my way to my office, and in front of Mika's office, we got 3 oak trees going in on Meeting Street, where we had to unfortunately take out a water oak that was probably 120 years old, but water oaks have a limited time span. And so live oaks do very well. They provide a lot of shade. They're very resilient. And so when I think of the 10,000 trees, what I picture is a live oak, not a palmetto.
Danny? Mayor, and I would have to say something. So I'm the proponent for the right tree in the right place. But I will say you have an excellent urban forestry department who understands that. And so the overlaying of the data to create the what I would describe as the benefits associated with the shading, kind of coupling that with the data around kind of electric infrastructure. So we don't ever, you and I never have to talk about that other stuff ever, or we don't create the problem that then causes somebody later to talk about. I think as long as it's the right tree in right place, we're good.
Yeah, no, without question. And in fact, what I was really, it's kind of the lowest hanging fruit is areas where power lines have been already buried, like what's sitting out there on Meeting Street, right? We're not going to have to worry about that. And so without question, this is going to take some alignment and prioritization. But I do think it's an exciting initiative that, it's something that we can engage the business community into and just individuals if they want to sponsor a tree or pay for a tree in their neighborhood. I mean, it isn't a heavy check to write, but I think could be something that, again, is a community building exercise as well.
Didn't we have a program where we were actually planting trees?
We have multiple programs to plant trees.
Right. So can we take one of those and expand it?
Probably, but I mean, I think, again, what I want to allow for is this to be not just city driven. This could be something that we engage private sector in. But right now, there's not, to my knowledge, an overall comprehensive plan on where we want to prioritize trees. And again, this is something I started thinking about this morning. So I don't have it fully baked, folks, but I wanted to, in light of the fact that we had this meeting today, wanted to throw it out there so that we can start thinking about different ways to make this very effective and impactful in a non-controversial or problematic way.
Any other comments? One of the things we could do is you already have the connections with the community groups, the neighborhood groups. If we could align the neighborhood groups with the park department and say at presentations to those community groups, we would like a representative from the park department to come and talk about where in your neighborhood it would be appropriate to plant some trees that would get the people within the city involved in that whole process.
Yeah, already one step ahead of you there. Met with the Neighborhood 2 Consortium, which is about half of the peninsula, and a lot of areas, East Side, I think Ansonboro and a few other neighborhoods already have a tree survey and where they want trees. So a lot of neighborhoods have already done this and have given us a roadmap. So yeah, we'll work with Becca Hopkins and Jason Kronsberg on parks about how to
Okay,
A little bit. But Rick, did you? Oh,
Yeah, if I'm not breaking up,
wait, Nick Coswell, you froze. Oh, 1 second. I think he's back. Wanted you to be able to complete your comment before Rick, is able to comment.
sorry.
You froze. Yeah, no worries.
I froze. Well, again, I'm gonna get with Neighborhood Services, who deals with the neighborhood
Okay.
association, who works with the neighborhood association, and parks to come up with a framework we can come back to this committee with.
I think we got it. No problem. A little bit of a technical difficulty, but we heard you loud and clear. Rick, you had your hand raised.
Yeah, I did. And just a thought, I don't know if this will make any sense, but this could be quite attractive for our schools too, potentially to be involved in some way where kids could get involved in helping with tree planting. I don't know if that would work into the equation, you know, when it's all said and done in terms of planning, but I would think kids would love this kind of thing through science classes or something like that. And
It's a great idea.
yeah, okay.
good idea, Greg. Thank you. Any other comments for the mayor? All right, thank you.
Thank you so much.
You're on, Mika.
Okay, this is the housekeeping, I guess we can get to, which is actually approval of the minutes. I was able to email, committee members last evening with the minutes. I don't know if anyone had time to review the minutes, from the previous meeting.
Yeah, we did. And we have 7 members now, so, yeah, so, may I have a motion to approve?
Yeah.
Thank you. Second, someone? I need a second.
A second.
Thank you, Danny. Any questions? All in favor? Great.
Aye.
This is awesome. Oh my gosh.
If y'all would give us a moment, we have more audio issues right now. Apologies.
Well, yeah, online, yeah, I'm sure online can hear us, but then they won't be able to hear. So this no longer works. That's why it was red, I guess. All right. I don't, so.
Can you hear us off of Mika's computer now?
Yeah, I got it.
Rick,
Can,
yes.
yeah, but I won't be able to present.
You should be able, you can't present.
No, this is,
Yeah, you can present onto the Zoom. It'll go to YouTube.
okay,
Just share your screen.
okay, but people here won't be
Y'all
able.
might not be able to hear the
Okay,
folks online.
okay, I'll share my screen. Wait, I'm sorry, yeah, I got you. A little flustered. I want to share. Yeah, I went out. Okay. Okay, just this really quick, and I'll just, given the technical difficulties, I'll make this really, really brief. This is just, so upon, becoming the Director of Sustainability, one thing that has consistently come to my attention has been how the broader public can access data. A lot of the work that was commandeered prior to my joining the city, a lot of many rich documents, a lot of important data, even past work, still has tremendous value, along with ongoing initiatives. So what I'm working on, and this is very early on, is just finding more dynamic ways to present data, to present information to the public that not only informs, but also will hopefully go toward some empowerment initiatives where we can encourage more grassroots, community-led work. So where these documents in reports and commissions that currently exist don't just kind of just become like archival documents. They can actually still become living documents that people can take some of the recommendations and move on their own. And also, this is somewhat going to coincide with a larger initiative that we've seen from our city communications department. While this is not a rebrand in the truest of sense, it will be in alignment with what we're seeing in terms of making things more concise and easier to access. And when I talk about accessibility, I don't mean just merely being able to find information, but also being able to just really take the more high level information and data and make it manageable and decipherable. Again, early stages, working with some either former partners with the city, folks who've worked on a number of our studies. I'm just gonna, what I wanna focus on, what you'll start to see on our website and hopefully in our newsletter and across social media when appropriate, is you'll see some of those metrics, and I'm gonna hone in more on social resilience and environmental metrics. Again, I'm not reinventing the wheel, but what I'd like to do is just represent or reposition and present information that's already available, but you just really have a tough time finding it. But there are also terms like social resilience that are difficult to define. These are not phrases or these aren't phrases that are controversial. It's just a way of us continue to interpret the data and present it to the broader public. So just quick bullet points here: social resilience, residents enrolled in weather, flood, and other safety alert systems, letting the broader public know what that looks like. I get inundated with questions about the status of certain programs, and folks are curious as to whether or not certain things are still viable. So hopefully what we'll be able to do is to present that data and information so folks will feel like more of a community. If you know how many neighbors are currently a part of Adopt a Drain, and you can see that more readily, it might encourage you to continue to support that program and also take action yourself. Environmental metrics, a number of tidal flood events. This is also consistent with what we're hearing from Mayor Cogswell with regard to some of the action that other departments are taking or that my counterpart in resilience is a part of. So we see the impact, but how do we help take that information and a lot of the projects, how do we connect that to the community so they understand their part and their role and the why behind maybe perhaps a certain stormwater initiative, so on and so forth. So taking some of those environmental metrics and making that a little bit more accessible to explain the why a little bit. Oop. Go back. Yeah, so two main types of infographics that we'll create. So metrics, and this is very, again, it's the way we're presenting information that already exists. So metrics and tracking updates and educating the public on important issues. So yeah, public education. So finding the definitions, making this as basic so that you can talk to people across generations, across ages about some of these, some of the things that are impacting Charleston from a climate standpoint. And again, the tracking, I'm just going to zoom through this really quickly. And while I think we've done a great job in past years presenting data in a very basic way, I think there's a way for us to refine some of the visual content and make it more just easier to decipher. So these are very simple graphics here, which we'll continue to highlight the compost program. I'm working with Sandy over in GIS, and we're trying to also make the data behind our compost program more accessible so that folks understand where we are, what this participation look like, not just here in Charleston, but across other municipalities within the region, right? And then also seeing the impact in ways that make sense. It looks a little elementary, but I think there's a way for us to kind of refine this and make it more impactful. And this is, again, just as a stand-in for what it could look like, where we can kind of demonstrate impact, right? So hypothetically, 1 in X, Charleston residents are registered for emergency notifications. Hopefully, again, this will help encourage folks to get more involved, stay connected, sign up for certain services and apps so they can be a part of the change themselves, and also define some of these things. What does sustainability mean here? What does resilience mean? What does it mean when we work together? So that's just I'm gonna stop sharing this. That's just a really quick snapshot as to what I'm aiming to do with some of the information we already have. Make it easy to digest, easy to decipher, and put it in a place where folks can really grab a hold of it. So there's not as so much questions as to how things are going. I'm gonna just.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'll say that those graphics are great. I mean, and I think figuring out ways, particularly in today's world, I don't have to tell this committee that, but to get information out there in a succinct and memorable way is pretty critical. So this I think is a great initiative, and just those images I think are pretty strong too. Did you design those?
I did not, but you've met her, Taylor. You let maybe a while ago, like year one. But she has worked. Taylor Schenker. She's worked with the city and Dale Morris on a number of studies and with others. So she's also an academic over at the Clemson Design Institute. So she helped me with that.
So great. Yeah, I'll get kudos.
Yeah, thank you. We're back. Sorry about that. Lord.
Sure, what just happened there?
Okay. Goodness.
I'm muted.
Turn your microphone. We're back.
Okay. Thank you, Mika. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That's gonna be really great. Taylor?
Okay, let's see if I got the lucky charm with the tech here. Probably not, but.
So she just has to share.
So. Let's resume.
There we go.
I just may need to use like Philip's mic. We are resilient and sustainable here with our tech challenges, so appreciate your patience. I think the Wi-Fi is not very good. Well, I will just get started. Before you can see, I did have some very nice visuals and hopefully they will populate. I had a pretty brief presentation because Mayor, I did reserve a little chunk of time if you wanted to share some of your visuals from Monday's presentation. Doesn't seem to want to present here. Okay, we might just have to see the wonky slide, but I did want to just highlight a few of the resilient program updates that I've either provided with y'all before and have a little bit of follow-up. Let me stop the screen share for a second and see it. Where was that saved?
Yes. I'll put it in this browser. In my face right here. Yep.
Okay, well, it's done.
You have to press screen share.
Yeah.
Green. Mayor, go for it.
Okay, I'm just gonna keep it on this mode as it's not wanting to do a full share. But anyway, okay, we'll get moving. So I did want to highlight a few of the programs that we've been working on and progress we've made. First up we have is WaterWise Charleston. As y'all know, we kicked off in May some public engagement that really this was our umbrella brand that we're trying to, I think, really taking a play on some of the things that Mika highlighted as having a cohesive way to have, whether that be data related to water projects, people wanting to report maintenance issues. We have a lot of really awesome resources for homeowners, whether it's how you can kind of play your part and keep drains cleaned. If you had some questions about how you go about getting an easement so you can get some maintenance in your backyard. The thing is, and we had an awesome fellow from our Harvard Bloomberg partnership this summer that was with us for 10 weeks, and he did an audit of our existing websites, and we had 90 landing spots on the website where something was related to flooding or water, which great. That means we already have a lot of content we've developed as the city, but what wasn't great is from a user accessibility, that meant you had to click like 100 times to maybe get to the information you wanted. And really, you know, when we were thinking about, there's so many different ways we think about water, from storm preparation to maintenance and stormwater to planning and projects. And we really just think it made sense to have this all in one-stop shop. And we did that in person in May with kicking off across the city, again, having all of our partners that do this work with us at a municipal level to a community level. They were all in the same room, and we wanted to put that feeling and momentum that we had online. So now we do have a live website, WaterWise Charleston. We're still tweaking a bit, but it's pretty good. And we have a spotlight for each month that we want folks to focus on that we're also gonna coordinate and put in our newsletter. So here's the QR code that is to the new website. You'll see different buckets for resident tools, some real-time, tie-dye, obviously a real-time app that, I heard from our GIS team, we had that storm last Monday. There was 12,000 users on tie-dye. So that meant people were checking the flooding events, they were taking pictures, sending them to the city. They were seeing live road closures. So that's really good. And we just want to continue to elevate these existing tools. And a goal too, and working with our GIS team, exactly to what Mika said, particularly from flood stats, is putting these on a dashboard. And our fellow also did some mock-up of what that could look like. So stay tuned. Hopefully next quarter, I might have that to share with you. I did also want to quickly, we have talked about some efforts we have underway really with adaptation planning in the Rosemont and Bridgeview communities. The city partnered with the community itself, but also some local nonprofits, the Low Country Alliance for Model Communities, Sustainability Institute, Sea Crab. The aquarium's a part of this. The College of Charleston's a part of this. Clemson, it's a lot of partners to do this work and help develop a really resilient strategy for these communities that are on the front line from all types of flooding risks. And both of these communities too, this really stemmed for, the mayor mentioned the work we're progressing with the battery extension, but there is a non-structural component, which means looking at other measures besides hard infrastructure to protect these communities from storm surge, including some floodproofing of buildings, maybe some home elevations. So this effort to do a more broader, particularly from the city, flood resilience plan for this community, we heard from the community, they're dealing with much more frequent kind of stormwater, obviously community on the marsh dealing with tidal, but also wanting to look at some more nature-based solutions for some of their more routine flooding issues. So this planning effort kicked off back in March. We had a community kickoff meeting in May. That's what you're seeing, some pictures on the screen there. Some really good community turnout. And the city's contribution, our flood action plan for the community, that's actually going to be almost ready in early fall. So we have a few more meetings we're going to get in front of the community to get a little bit more of their feedback of some of the project development. But what we're really hoping, especially with some near-term flooding solutions the community is looking for, is to have we meet with Matt Fountain, our stormwater team, to see kind of, okay, what do we need to have as an actionable, to get on his small project list for next year. So we're hoping we'll have some development, so we have some real action for the community. We're also coordinating with SEDOT, who has, they take ownership of some work up there too. So stay tuned, we'll have a little more to report. And then one of my newest things I'm most excited about to report out, I think last year y'all had a presentation. We had an excellent grad intern from the College of Charleston's environmental science program. We love working with the College of Charleston, particularly that program. They develop really good students that can walk right into careers either here at the city or other partners. But we had, through the water plan, we had placed these 14 groundwater monitoring wells across the city. Sorry, the map is a little tiny, but you can kind of get an idea of those red dots where we have them located. We had an intern last year that was able to really help. You know, unlike some of our other flood sensors, these ones actually require physical labor to go in. You see down there in the bottom right of the screen is what the actual well looks like. And that little diver goes down into the soil, sand, and then that's what reads the actual water level. So there is a physical component of somebody needing to unscrew that, take it off, read it, clean the data. So we had an excellent intern that did a first round of about 2 rounds of data for last year for that. We did have a gap just in capacity after he left the city, but we now have a partnership. Mayor just signed the MOU this week to kick off this monitoring and collection program with the College of Charleston. So we're very, very excited about that. And, you know, to go back to WaterWise, this is how we talk about how we kind of solve this larger puzzle of water, and we utilize these partnerships. And, you know, it's a win-win for the city. We get some staffing needs to go physically, students to go out there, collect the data. They're also going to help with our GIS team put this into a public-facing dashboard. So we have some of that accessible data that Mika was talking about. But yes, we're very excited, and we hope it will actually be a really good opportunity for students to do this work, get out in the field, but also maybe those ones that have get an interaction of working with the city too. And then finally, I talked to y'all about this at our last meeting. We had just had the Low Country Heat Action Plan Toolkit. We have had a string of extreme heat this summer, I think, and it's brought a lot of awareness to the need to talk about it more, particularly the impacts of heat health. It is the #1 fatality when it comes to weather events. I think, you know, rightfully so, we focus a lot on flooding and water, but heat, when it comes to actual heat health impacts, is really something we need to bring our eyes to, and to the mayor's initiative with the trees. You know, that relates to helping solve some of our heat island issues, but also, you know, and to Lucy's point, if we find the appropriate tree in the appropriate location, it could also have flood mitigation benefits as well. So kind of anything, I mean, that's the world where the resilience hat is. How many solutions can we find that have co-benefits? I do have, if anybody's interested, the team that put together the Low Country Heat Action Plan Toolkit, that on the Citadel, they're one of our partners, the Centers for Climate. It's housed on their website, but we did also put together like a brief executive summary. I have that. There's my information, people online, people in the room, shoot me an email. I'm happy to share that because we're really trying to get that circulated to folks to keep spreading the word about heat action plan and being heat prepared. That's it from my updates. I had put on the list about, you know, our updates from our Army Corps partnerships, but I think the mayor went over that at the beginning, unless there's anything else you wanted to add, or I did have some of these visuals, Mayor, if there's anything you wanted to highlight, I'm happy to pull that up, or.
As you were talking, you reminded me, last meeting, we did talk about the heat action, and I had mentioned that I was part of that research a couple summers ago. It just hit me that where I went, which was on part of a greenway, there were no trees. And you had people walking on the greenway in no shade whatsoever. So that might be a place for the city to, or the county, or whomever is responsible for looking for at least one location to start planting a good number of trees.
No, I think, Gail, that was great. Kind of to your point, ties in directly with this idea for shade trees. And so I think there's going to be plenty of thoughts and advice and ideas as to where trees could go.
Thank you. Thank you, Kayla. Any questions for Kayla?
I just want to echo your enthusiasm and support for your partnership with College of Charleston, but not just College of Charleston. You mentioned the Citadel as well and other universities, and it just makes a huge impact bringing students into the work that the city is doing, helping them get involved in the city. And it really, not even just our graduate students, our undergraduate students as well. And so we're just very thankful for that and looking forward to more collaboration.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the collaboration and trying to solve these pieces of the puzzle of what we're dealing with and resilience and sustainability is so important. You know, obviously a capacity limitation just from, you know, a city staff, but also, you know, to Mika's point, when we're talking about getting this education and messaging out to the community, sometimes the city isn't the best messenger. So to have these community partnerships, whether it's with, you know, public education institutions or nonprofits like what we're doing in Rosemont, it goes a long way in helping build a lot of community trust, but also helping actually meet our goals too with what we want to do. And again, win-win when we can get a really good student to do some work for us.
I think part of the challenge, without picking on anyone that I spoke to before the meeting, is our challenge is you have so much stuff, good stuff that's on the web and on the city pages, but people don't know it's there. And so maybe if we can think about how do we get people to go in and it's there, just as your water wise and pages and things like that. And if people really spend time looking through the city's pages, they would see the wealth of information. We just need to find a way to
one
educate.
thing I'm excited about too, that our fellow, he was only with us for a short time, but he did a lot of impactful work, is he helped build out like communication strategy with, again, some goals and different kind of mechanisms of how we can continue to, again, we have the content, it's just continuously getting that word out, but in an accessible way for residents and folks interested in what the city's doing. So stay tuned, we're gonna keep evolving.
I'm sorry, did I interrupt? Mayor, before we open for public comment, do you have any other comments? Oh, I'm sorry, Rick.
Yeah, I wanted to get.
I'm sorry,
before-
my apologies, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, I wanted to give a shout out to Kaylin for all the hard work she's been doing, particularly on the Army Corps partnership. I mean, I can't stress how much communication, negotiation, collaboration is going on with their staff, kind of up and down the chain of command. So just wanted to give her a shout out for all the hard work she's been involved with. It's been pretty impactful, and looking forward to the fruits of those labors coming out in the public here in very short order.
Thank you. Thank you, Kaylin, also. Rick?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. Just two quick points. One is water-wise is a great term. I think the Charleston water, whatever it's called, district uses water-wise for its newsletter that includes all its customers for city water. Secondly, though, speaking of that, I think that also would be a good way to communicate to the public, is if there could be some sort of flyer that's included in a bill, either from the water company or someone like that could help raise awareness of this resource for people, especially when we have events like Erin and other things that come by. It may be something that they tuck away in the back of their minds that they can go to when things like that happen.
Yeah, thanks. I do have today, if you're here in person, that is something we thought of, Rick. One of the things that my fellow did, we have a flyer here for WaterWise, and it is something we've talked about. This is what we'll bring to community meetings, maybe put in some direct mail. I know the city has utilized, whether it's water bills or something in the past, to get some of that information out. So thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments from members of the committee? Any public comment? Just please stand up, tell us who you are, and make your comment. Please, go ahead.
Hi, Donna Hinton, Charleston Village. I just had a question, update on the knee wall. What's the progress? I know that funding supposedly has been placed and the design has been approved, I believe. So where do the next step on that?
We are finishing the construction drawings for it, and then we'll be going out to bid for it. So we do have, I don't think the funding necessarily has been fully approved, but we have the funding available between 3 different sources, and council seems to be pretty supportive of it, especially in light of how it will interact with the future extension of the battery. So it is in process. We hope, if I had to guess, that we would start construction on it within the next 6 months. And Councilman Seekings, I see if you're on, if you want to add anything to that, feel free. You're on mute, FYI. Well, anyway, it is very much a priority, and I think we'll have a real impact, both short and long term. So we're committed to it.
Very rare that Mr. Seekings doesn't talk when he's given the opportunity. So just picking on you, Mike. That's all. Any other comments from the public? Any comments from anybody on Zoom? Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm Megan Friday, and I'm from the Charleston Village Association, and I just want to say thank you so much. When you guys put your newsletter out, I take things directly off. I put it on our social media so people can see Adopt a Drain, people can see the trash change and all of this. And we're probably become a little bit of a squeaky wheel because we ask the same 5 questions over and over and over. So I think, Mika, when you were saying it's going to be updated, because I'm sure you get calls from people asking you the same thing constantly. So then we know we can just look on that site and, okay, here's where the knee wall is, and here's where the 20 projects are, because you guys don't want to spend your days fielding those. So I think that's helpful for the residents, and thank you so much for doing that.
No, thank you. And I think I'm appreciative to hear the feedback, but also our peer in comms communication, Deja McLean. She's Magnolia, sorry. But Deja's done a great job with making sure that information is accessible. So we'll continue to do that, and I'm sure you're creating more.
Yeah, I mean, on WaterWise, there's a bucket that's projects, and we're continuously working with, relevant departments to make sure pages are updated. Also, was highlighted, our communications team has expanded. Many of you may know Robin Kidd. She was a stormwater coordinator, but now she's doing that communications for all city projects. So I think you'll start to see a lot more information, project specific, coming out.
And I'd like to say this too. What prompted my presentation was the need to kind of dig into my predecessors. Set up a lot of really amazing tools, but when she left, so did some of the access. So we're trying to create new access ways to data that exists so that those things can be updated. So if you have seen things like the compost impact not updated, we're working on that actively right now to make sure that you'll see where we are and how folks' efforts are actually, creating some huge impacts. It's coming soon.
And I don't think a lot of people don't know about it. I wonder, like, if every community could say, hey, we're gonna do a workshop on compost, and this is how you do it. Would love to talk to you guys about that in the future.
Sure. Yeah, we'll work with Becca Hopkins as well, who has connections with a lot of neighborhood groups. So I'm more than happy to kind of join and help folks know what's going on. Yeah. Thank you.
And one more thing, the trees, 10,000 trees. I love that. That just makes my heart very happy. But I had volunteered with a program like this 10 years ago that did something exactly like that. It's community-based. They grow the trees, they plant the trees, from the kids to the neighborhoods to everybody. If that's going to happen, I'd love to help and get involved in that.
You're on. Thank you. Any other public comment? I think it's really appropriate for us to have a meeting like this, especially with the weather, the weather's been fine, except it's the number of roads that have been closed because of the visit of Erin. So if there's no other business, I'll call for motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Thank you. All in favor?